Hello and welcome to another Be.Tech.Construction lecture. This is the Building Information Modelling series, and this lecture is called What is BIM? So what exactly is BIM? It's the creation, correlation and sharing of 3D models with intelligent structured data attached to those models. BIM can be thought of as the building information model, so the actual 3D graphical representation of buildings or structures and parts. It could be thought of the actual process of building information modelling, the purchase and use of software to model any element of the building or structure. But it's also building information management, a managed and agreed process of working. So it's who's producing what things and when are they producing them. This stuff is all pre-planned and agreed between all parties. So let's take a little look at what the building information model is made up of. It's actually made up of many different files which fall into three parts. You've got the graphical information, so this is what people most often think of when they think of BIM, the 3D model of the building or of the structure. You've also got point cloud data which comes from 3D laser scanners, which we'll look at more in another lecture. But a building information model is not just graphical information. You've also got non-graphical information, databases, spreadsheets, etc. This information is often linked to the graphical information. So if you have a spreadsheet inside the modelling software and you delete, say, a window from the spreadsheet, you would delete the window from the model at the same time. The graphics is linked to the non-graphical data in the modelling software. Obviously, once you've exported something like a spreadsheet outside of the modelling software so it can be opened in something like Excel, it's no longer linked to that graphical information, but they do still need to match up and essentially be the same. Documentation, so we still have all our traditional 2D drawings, reports, specifications and that kind of thing. So that is what makes up the building information model. During the process of modelling, all of the above is referred to as the Project Information Model, or PIM. When the building is complete, the model is handed to the client and known as an Asset Information Model, or AIM. We will discuss this more later. As we have mentioned before, all this information has to agree with one another and come to form a single source of truth. So looking at the building information modelling process, how the PIM is produced, how the project information model is produced. The process carried out to create a BIM, or a building information model. The purchase of software and an engineer will use this to build up 3D graphical representations of every part of the building or structure. There are three main models to speak of, and that's architectural, structural and MEP, that's mechanical, electrical and plumbing. But there will be multiple specialists and consultants producing ever smaller parts of the whole. All these models need to be layered over one another in a process called federating, so everybody can see everybody else's work and avoid clashes. We attach intelligent, usable data to the 3D graphics, which we will discuss in more depth later. The 3D model is used to produce all traditional data such as 2D drawings, schedules, visualizations, animations, timelining, cost models, building analysis, health and safety, etc. Building information management. Traditionally, information has been exchanged in an unmanaged way, generally via email from one person to one or more people. Different people can end up receiving different information that doesn't match up. You can imagine the knock-on effect this has as further information is then produced. BIM's answer to this is that instead of everyone contacting everyone else with information exchange, one copy of each piece of work is all stored in a central location and individuals then download this information as they need it. This is known as a common data environment, and we will cover this in more detail later in these series of videos. And that ends the micro lecture on what BIM is, and we'll be moving on to more on BIM next.